Hey guys, Corey Young with Investor Life. We have a really cool opportunity that we wanted to share with you. It's just kind of come across our desk over the last few weeks, and it's a great opportunity in Northeast BC. You probably never heard of the town before. Maybe you have. If you're paying attention to the economic news that's coming out of British Columbia these days, it's a little town called Kitimat, BC, and what they're building there is LNG terminal. So that's what that does is that turns natural gas into liquefied natural gas, or LNG. So that's what the terminal is going to do. Now, this construction project, what they're building there, is actually the largest private investment project in Canadian history. A project like this has never been built before. That's how big it is. It's going to take roughly about 10,000 workers, they predict, to build this to its completion. And this is all happening within a town that is about 8,000 people. So there's a huge potential as to what's going to happen in this town. It's incredible the amount of growth that is going to occur, what that's going to do to the home prices that are there. Now, the announcement for this was just made in October 2018. So just a few months ago, this was announced. Construction has already started, and we have a really cool project that fits for investors. So, you know, when you put together a project where has huge potential for equity gains to be made. So property appreciation, huge potential for that. In the location where there's going to be a high demand for rental product, and the product that we have, not only is it going to be brand new, which means it's low repairs and maintenance. I wrote these down for a reason. Brand new properties, low repairs and maintenance. What does that mean for you as an investor? Really easy to manage, especially if you're, I doubt any of you live in Kitimat. So you're gonna have somebody managing for it. For you, but to have it low repairs, low maintenance costs, that's huge when it comes to an investment property. Also, brand new properties attract really high quality tenants. And so the video that will continue on here talks a little bit more about that, but I just wanted to go over some of these main points and what really makes a difference for us as investors. Also, it comes with guaranteed rents, 12 months, the first year, once it's completed. So this project is under construction now. Once it's completed in spring of 2020, so about a year from now, these townhomes will be able to be occupied. At that point, for the following year, 12 months, the developer is guaranteeing rent of $3,000 a month. So you have guaranteed cash flow coming in, at least for the first year. And in fact, the guarantee is lower than what they're expecting the actual rents to be. So you could even get higher rents than what they're guaranteeing for you. So that is just awesome to get something brand new that actually cash flows in a location where there's huge appreciation potential and huge housing demand. So the video following my little intro here is going to talk more about that. Really pay attention to this. If you're in the market for something right now, if you're looking at where should I be buying, what's a great market to buy in, this is an awesome opportunity. These types of things we don't come across them very often. And of course, this is something that's brand new. And in fact, it was just announced today that an expansion for this project, okay, so it's already the largest in Canadian history, but they're already planning to expand it. And it talks about that a little bit in the video, but it was announced today that is likely to go ahead. So it's not a guarantee yet, but it's moving towards that direction. We're already seeing huge progress there. Location. We talk about that in real estate all the time. This is a fantastic location. Not only being in Kitimat, which is a town that is about to boom, but where this project itself is located in the town is actually in a great spot as well. So that's really good. And of course, you know, when there's high housing demand, we have low vacancy. So not only are repairs and maintenance low, our vacancy rate is going to be extremely low. We have guaranteed rents. It's an affordable project to be buying into. A 2 or a 3 bedroom townhomes are the options. And these are townhomes that actually come with garages as well. They come with fenced yards. So really good quality project, quality property that's going to attract a quality tenant. So all really good things. I'm going to leave you now to go into the more details on it. Watch the rest of this video, and I hope you're excited as I am.
Nowadays, real estate investors are looking for great deals in Canadian growth markets. As investors, we are taught to look for the fundamentals which contribute to a strong investment, which include buying in areas with population growth, job growth, and high demand for housing. It's also important as investors that we buy properties for cash flow and appreciation. Introducing Riverbrook Estates Townhomes in Kitimat, BC. So why is Kitimat a good investment? Kitimat is located in northwest BC, 1,400 kilometers north of Vancouver along the west coast. The community sits at the head of the Douglas Channel next to Kitimat River and was developed in the 1950s to serve the aluminum industry. Until recently, the name Kitimat conjured up a little-known town with a population of less than 9,000. But today, Kitimat is a town known around the globe for one thing: the single largest private sector investment in Canadian history. On October 1st, 2018, LNG Canada announced that its joint venture participants, Shell, Petronas, PetroChina, Mitsubishi Corporation, and Kogas, have made a final investment decision, or FID, to build the LNG Canada export facility in Kitimat, British Columbia. LNG Canada is a $40 billion LNG project that will see a 670-kilometer pipeline carrying natural gas from northeast BC to a terminal in Kitimat, where it will be liquefied for export to Asia. LNG stands for liquefied natural gas. It's a natural gas that's been cooled to about minus 160 degrees Celsius to transform it into a liquid, which makes it easier and safer to ship. Did you know that 1 cubic foot of LNG equals 600 cubic feet of natural gas? Since the announcement October 1st of last year, everyone is looking to participate in the pending economic boom, whether they're an energy worker, a contracting company, a product supplier, a facilities service company, or an individual real estate investor. Between the plant and the pipeline, up to 10,000 people will be employed during the construction, with half to three-quarters of those working on the Kitimat plant. The number of workers in Kitimat over the length of the project will increase steadily into 2020. LNG Canada has already awarded $530 million in contracts to BC companies, and there are currently over 600 people working on the LNG Canada project. Long term, the plant will employ 300 to 450 people with new permanent jobs. Residents of Kitimat experienced a 20% increase in their January 2019 assessed values over the previous year, the highest increase of all the northwestern municipalities. And in 2018, residential home sales more than doubled with the excitement and demand for housing that news of the LNG project created. Western investor publication named Kitimat the #1 city to invest in Western Canada for 2019, citing that the LNG project will change Kitimat forever. Brian Yu, the Deputy Chief Economist for Central One Credit Union, declared that Canada's great housing boom is shifting north and predicted that home prices there will surge faster than any other region in BC through 2020. The BC Real Estate Association published their housing forecast in November and recalled that the LNG excitement generated in 2012 to 2014 caused prices in Kitimat to rise 82%, and with no new housing supply in recent years, they predict prices increasing by as much as 10% in 2019. Riverbrook Estates is a master plan community of 47 2- and 3-bedroom townhomes and will be the first and largest new housing development to open in Kitimat since the LNG Canada investment decision. These brand new townhomes will start construction this year and will offer 3 levels with garages, fenced yards, and all appliances included. With more than 90% of the homes in Kitimat having been built over 50 years ago, these new townhomes will be a welcome addition to provide much-needed housing for the construction boom of the LNG project and beyond. Many young families will move to Kitimat for the jobs and will end up staying on. Riverbrook's master plan community is nestled in a central location backed onto a greenbelt and river close to schools, and only a 4-minute drive to the town center. It is a natural extension of the existing neighborhood of Kildala, surrounded by recreational trails and the scenic Kitimat River. How do you ensure the quality of your pre-sale investment is sound? Buy from an established and reputable builder. Kirchhoff Construction is not only the builder, but also part owner of the land and thus has a vested interest in the long-term success of Riverbrook Estates. Kirchhoff were also the builder of choice for 2 of the most recent construction projects in Kitimat, a 36-unit stacked townhome project in 2014 and a 49-unit building commissioned for the Heisla Town Center in 2015. Remote property management can be provided to investors by local company Pace Realty. Riverbrook Townhomes will primarily be of interest to management executives. Despite the fact that LNG will be building a 6,000-man camp for the workers, the management staff for the largest energy contract in Canadian history cannot be expected to live in a work camp. In addition, new homes will be needed for the likely increase in support workers, such as retail and hospitality staff, medical support workers, and ancillary service companies. Pace Realty is expecting unfurnished 2-bedroom townhomes to rent for around $3,500 per month and more if furnished. Starting at $399,900 plus GST, Riverbrook Estates is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to buy in a predictable economic boom. The developer is confident of the rental demand and is offering a rent guarantee of $3,000 per month for the first year, with expectations that investors will get up to $3,500 per month as per Pace Realty's forecasts. Beyond the first year, it's forecasted that vacancy will be 0 due to the huge ramp-up of workers. The vast majority of the hiring will begin mid to late 2020, and investors are covered for 2020 into 2021 with the $3,000 a month rental guarantee. In addition to the LNG Canada project and the hundreds of permanent jobs it will create, Kitimat is on the edge of an economic boom. The District of Kitimat website lists 11 major projects that currently have applications in for development. These include Kitimat LNG, which would be 3,000 to 5,000 jobs during construction and 100 to 200 permanent jobs upon completion, and the $400 million Kitimat propane terminal by Pacific Traverse Energy. In addition, LNG Canada has publicly mentioned in March 2019 that they are already planning for an expansion of their plant, and the expansion decision could happen before the initial 5-year construction project is finished. What are the possible exits of this investment? Another of Canada's boom towns, Fort McMurray, Alberta, provides a lesson in what investors can possibly expect in Kitimat. Fort McMurray exploded from a population of 13,000 to 80,000 in less than 15 years. You can choose to exit early while the construction boom is still happening and take early profits and cash flows selling to an investor or homeowner, or hold long-term for cash flow and further appreciation. Cash flows can be applied to pay down the mortgage aggressively, providing a stronger equity position and the option to refinance and withdraw the equity to leverage into further investments. With the potential for further LNG Canada expansion, the Kitimat LNG project, and the propane plant, the investment could be an incredible long-term hold. Exclusive to Keyspire members, Riverbrook Estates is offering 2 exclusive options. If you assign your contract prior to completion, you will not incur any assignment fees. If you end up taking possession of your townhome, the developer will cover the cost of your legal fees up to a maximum of $1,250. Note that the 0% assignment fee is only available for homes purchased in the month of April 2019. In addition, the developer has organized a mortgage offer for those investors looking for a pre-sale pre-approval and mortgage rate hold until completion. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to welcoming you to Riverbrook Estates Master Plan Community in the heart of Kitimat, BC.
Hey guys, Corey Young here again. I just wanted to go over a couple of points that will really help maybe you in making your decision on if you're in the position where you're looking for a place to invest. You want to pick a location or a market that has a lot of potential, right? We always look for a good market to invest in. So what are some of the things that we look for? Well, number one, we look for job growth. Are jobs being created in this market? Or are people losing jobs in this market? Because if jobs are being created, what happens? People end up moving there in order to get those jobs, especially if they're high paid construction type jobs. People end up moving there, working there. Now, maybe it's short term. In fact, in a lot of cases, it's short term. And what that creates for us is tenants to rent our properties off of us. And a lot of them end up liking a lifestyle of the place they end up moving to and working at and raising their families at for a number of years, and they decide to stay. And what does that become? That usually becomes buyers if we want to sell or exit that property at some point in the future. So we're looking for locations where jobs are growing, are being created, which means population grows. When the population grows, that creates a demand for housing. What that also does is it raises house prices. But before house prices go up, usually we see rental rates go higher as well. And so that is great for us as landlords. So locations where there's a high demand of housing is almost always tied in with job growth. Now, just to go over this one last time, we have a town, okay, here's my horrible drawing, but we have a town of 8,000 people, okay? 8,000 people. And we have 10,000 jobs being created. Now, where do you think, who's going to fill those jobs? Is it these 8,000 people? Well, no, because likely most of them, if they're working, they already have jobs for the most part, right? I mean, some of those might fill those 10,000 spots, but certainly not all of them. So what's going to happen? Well, people need to move into this town. People who are going to work at building this terminal, they're going to need places to live. I mean, Kitimat itself, the next closest town is about 25, 30-minute drive away. So are you going to want to drive 30 minutes and live in a different town, or are you going to want to live close by where you're working? It only makes sense to want to live closer if that's an option, if it's possible. So remember, 10,000 people are going to be needed for this project. Not all of them are going to live or work in Kitimat, but the large majority of them are. And what comes along with those people, with these 10,000 workers? Well, their families. The families also come along with them. So that increases the population of a town. Now, when a town increases from 8,000 people, and we have, let's say, only 5,000 workers in Kitimat, plus their families, okay, that's a significant amount of people moving into a small town. Well, it's going to need more restaurants, it's going to need, you can name it, more businesses, more services, you name it, all down the line. And so people end up moving there for those jobs as well. So it's not just the impact of this one project, it's everything else that goes around it that also goes to increase the town's population. When the town's population increases, housing demand increases, rental rates go up, and that's why we see such significant cash flows predicted for a town of 8,000 people. And this is something, as was mentioned, that is going to increase for a long period of time. There's a lot of other projects that are also being announced. And in fact, it was just announced today, I think I mentioned this earlier, that $40 billion project is already planning to expand. And I just want to share a quick story with you. Tiffany and I were in Thailand this past winter, and when we were driving around, we noticed that on almost all the trucks, especially like the semi trucks, the larger transport trucks, that sort of stuff, and some of the smaller, even, half-ton type trucks. They had these big bottles in the back of the trucks. And I asked our taxi driver, I actually ended up asking a couple of them, just, what is this? What are those bottles in the back of the vehicles? We don't have that in North America. And they said, well, those are the fuel. That's the fuel that, drives that vehicle. And I was like, okay, so what kind of fuel is it? And they said, it's natural gas. And I found that really interesting. We never really noticed it or saw it with our own eyes before until we saw that. And so why are they building this terminal? Well, they're changing natural gas into a liquid so that it can be transported to Asia and other markets around the world. And we really saw evidence of how much is being used over there, especially, and how much there is a demand for liquefied natural gas. And so it really impressed on our minds when you see it with your own eyes. It really impresses on your minds the need for this product, and the need for a terminal like this, and how it can really affect the economy, especially in a town of this size. So just a lot of points that I wanted to share with you. These are the types of things that we as investors really get excited about. We look forward to, we try to, search and find. They don't come across all the time. And especially a project that's going to cash flow in a type of location like this, that's just another huge plus. So if you have any questions, let us know. We're here to answer your questions. I'm not the one selling this project, but what I'm doing is I'm here to present it to you and to connect you with the right people. I'm not selling it to you or anything like that, but I'll connect you with the right people, and they can answer your questions for you. Okay, so hopefully that gives you enough information. If this interests you, let us know and we will get you rolling.